apparently you can now analyze YouTube videos here inside of NotebookLM. That's what we're going to try in this video. So you go to new notebook and you can see that there is an option here, YouTube. There was always this option of website, and there's also like Google Slides as well. Now, this will be interesting to test. But in this video, I'm going to test the YouTube part. So what I need is a YouTube link. I'm going to be giving NotebookLM the link to this video. This is one of my favorite discussions in the last couple of months. It's talking about prompt engineering, and they do a nice deep dive, and these are folks from Anthropic. And what I found is that in this discussion, there are a lot of scattered ideas that were mentioned in terms of how to better prompt these models. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this video and give it to NotebookLM and see if I can better summarize some of the prompt engineering tips that were offered in this video. So the way you do that is you can copy the link to the YouTube video here and then go back to NotebookLM. So now I can go to YouTube and then I can paste a link. Very important to note that only the test transcript will be imported at this moment. It'd be interesting to see if you can do more analysis on audio and other modalities like the actual video itself. But for now, it's just a text transcript. And I'm wondering if they are using Gemini 1.5 Pro for this, because I already use Gemini 1.5 Pro to do transcription of YouTube videos. Only public YouTube videos are supported. Recently uploaded videos may not be available to import. If upload fails, there's some link there for you to go and check out. I'm going to insert that. You can see that it's previewed here. And now it's being summarized. So we have the summary, we have these options to quickly generate things like table of contents and so on. And then there are some suggested questions here at the bottom. And I'm not sure if these are based on the title of the video, or maybe it could be on the content of the video as well. And then there's also this audio overview. Now, I won't use the audio overview. I think this is still interesting, but because this was already a conversation, maybe it's more interesting to use the chat option here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it a question. What are the main prompt engineering tips mentioned in the discussion? List 20 of them. Or list the top 20. Something like that. So I want a list. And I'm going to hit enter. So now it's going to go over the transcription, I guess. It's taking some time for that. Usually with these videos, especially because this one is over 1 hour, usually takes some time to analyze. But anyways, here it goes. And I could also change the length of these items here. But I like this summary already because I could drill deeper into some of these items. Anyways, it says the following are 20 prompt engineering tips according to the sources. Okay. And notice that with NotebookLM, you get these sources. So when you click on these sources, what you get is it points to the actual transcription, which is nice. So let's go through this one. Communicate clearly and concisely. I think that's a no-brainer. Think about how the model will interpret your instructions and anticipate any potential misinterpretations. I think this is also a very good suggestion. Let's go through this list more. Don't try to force the model into a persona or role. I thought that was one of the interesting tips that was mentioned. I already listened to the discussion, so I remember that that was something that was discussed. Think of the model as an imitator who will try to mimic your style of writing. I don't remember that part. Try to simulate what it's like to be the model and think from its perspective. I thought that was an interesting one as well that was mentioned. Use examples to illustrate this task, but don't give the model too many examples. Don't be afraid to provide the model with more information and context that you think it needs. That's the feedback. Give the model a clear out for when it encounters an unexpected input. Don't remember that one. Think of the model as a temp agency person who has a lot of knowledge but needs to be told exactly what to do. Let's look at that one and let's look at the sources here. I'm going to click on that one. I don't remember this one, so I want to know what exactly that was about. And that's the thing, right? Sometimes when you're listening to these YouTube videos, you might miss something because you got distracted a bit. That's usually how I watch YouTube videos. Usually I'm watching YouTube videos when I'm doing some other thing like coding, writing, or something like that. So let's look at this. This will allow me to catch a few interesting things that maybe I missed. Says, but they don't know the name of your company. They've literally just showed up and they're like, hey, I was told you guys had a job for me to do. Tell me about it. And then it's like, what would you say to that person. You may use these metaphors. You might say things like, we want you to detect good charts. What we mean by a good chart here is it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to go look up whether all of the details are correct. It just needs to have its axis label. And so think about maybe high school level good chart. This is more talking about how you might interact with the system, right? You go in with some expectations. It's important to think about how you instruct it and so on. So that makes sense to me. And actually, if I go to 13 here, there's another piece here. Notice it's grabbing pieces from different places, which I found really interesting. And it's summarizing them into one tip, which is really cool to see. So it says just voice record that and then transcribe it and then paste it into the prompt, and it's a better prompt than you wrote. But this is a laziness shortcut, I think, to some extent, because people write something that day. I just think I'm lazy. A lot of people are lazy. We had that in prompt assistance the other day where somebody was like, here's the thing here's what I wanted to do, and here's what it's actually doing instead. So then I just literally copied the thing and they said they wanted it to do. So it's more on that. And let me see, go to 13 here. So it's roughly the same. And there are a lot of different parts here that this particular item is citing. So let me go to here. It says, adjust to it. Yeah, I'm reminded of Carpati ImageNet. I was in. Okay, let me see if there's anything regarding this. All right. So I'll have to look a little bit deeper here. And I think it's interesting that it's grabbing this from different places, but I'm not sure if it's doing that correctly. Okay, so yeah, that has to do with the temp agency person thing right here. And this is very different from the other thing that I read, but it's roughly along the same lines. As I mentioned initially, with this particular discussion on prompt engineering, I noticed that it was a very open-ended conversation. Like there was some guidance from the host, but sometimes there was a lot of overlap in the discussion. So that's why I asked what were the prompt engineering tips, because I wanted something more condensed and something that maybe looked at the overall discussion and summarized the tips for me. And by the way, I tweeted something like this, which is something that I had already done. And I had done this with Cloud. So essentially what I did, I took the video, I downloaded it, that same YouTube video, and then I transcribed it using Gemini. And then I took the transcription from Gemini and then I posted it to Cloud, and then Cloud summarized the prompt engineering tips. There is a tweet I posted and it went viral about this thing. And now you can do it in one shot, basically just providing the YouTube link here. How amazing is that? In a couple of weeks, this has been provided now as a feature here in NotebookLM. So I'm very excited about NotebookLM. I think it'd be great to do research and do analysis, deeper analysis on things you're interested in, help you study different topics. But do check it out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.